أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على ختم الأنبياء والمرسلين صلى الله عليه وسلم. I'm so thankful and blessed today that ShuraTV is allowing me to be a moderator with a program with two of our esteemed professionals in the correctional working field in the state of California. I have with me Dr. Winona Majid Muhammad, who is at the Women's Institution, the California Institution for Women, along with Imam Abdul Safir, who is at the California Rehabilitation Center in Norco. And to begin, I would like to ask our Dr. Winona if she can give a little bit about herself, because this is an introduction to our community, to get a chance to see and to hear the Muslim chaplains who work in this state of California. Dr. Winona.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Imam Abdul Hafiz has asked me to talk a little, you've heard him, asked me to talk a little bit about myself, which is difficult to do. But professionally, well, I have been a practicing Muslim for all of my adult life. And I have always, during that time, wanted to work in the prison chaplaincy and have looked forward to doing that, worked toward doing that through my professional life. I was a newspaper professional, a writer and editor for more than 30 years in the Los Angeles area, and I know that dates me, but it is what it is, and it's good to be able to be older. You have more life experience, and it's a blessing from Allah to be able to do that. So I was a newspaper professional for that long in California and outside of the state of California in Nevada. When I returned from Nevada, maybe a decade ago, I began looking seriously into how to become a prison chaplain, and I've had lots of support from the chaplains in the state and federal level. So let's go back to my my qualifications for this. Being a Muslim is the biggest qualification for working in the prison chaplaincy, and being a Muslim means that you have compassion for the captives, you have a sensitivity for other individuals, especially for those individuals who haven't been able to think clearly, perhaps, about their lives, about their relationships with Almighty God Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Academically, I have a bachelor's degree in journalism and a master's and PhD degree in religion and social ethics. So with my study of Al-Islam and also the study of community and mental health and the social environment and how individuals fit into the social environment, I think that encapsulates how I have been qualified to work in this environment. Like I said, I've been working toward that for a very long time. Alhamdulillah, I have been able to work in that position and to work with professional chaplains like Imam Abdul Hafiz and Imam Abdul Safir. It has been a wonderful experience to be able to serve my Lord in this way. And I look forward to very many more experiences in this environment.
Thank you very much. Imam Abdul Malik?
Yes, thank you. And I'd like to thank Imam Abdul, Hafiz, and the Shura Council for having us to participate in this program. I started off volunteering in 1974. I started off at CIM, and from CIM I went to Patton. From Patton I went to CRC. I've been working for the state of California for 21 years, and prior to that I worked with the Metropolitan Transportation Department, LA County Metropolitan Transportation Authority. And I learned more so about this job that we are hired to do. It is an extension to the public that is isolated, and the isolation of the inmates, which we call them inmates. There has to be some type of communication and outreach, such as Imam Hafiz is doing right now with the prison outreach program. We have to be able to go inside and not forget those who have been incarcerated. Some of them are innocent, and some have done such crimes, and they have turned their lives around while they're inside of the institution. That's one of the parts that me as a person, as a Muslim, who has been practicing Al-Islam for since 1972. By way of the routing that I came was through the Nation of Islam up under the Honorable Elijah Muhammad at that time, and continued this process through Imam Warfdeen Muhammad. And it wasn't until 1975 that I had a clarity of Al-Islam proper. And prior to that, going into the prisons back then, it was more so of up under the Nation of Islam that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad started in prison system. This is part of my background, and I don't want to take up too much time explaining that, because it's another story altogether. So I'm going to turn this back over to the Imam Abdul Hafiz.
Thank you very much, both chaplains. And you both addressed something, and that is, we know that the vast number of persons inside of the correctional facilities are African American and brown persons, non-white persons. And in that reality with this whole Black Lives Matter, do you find that more meaningful to you, that you do work there, that they have a face of someone who is a pastoral caregiver for them? How do you deal with that part? How do you find it pleasurable to you in the fact that you're there so they can see a positive African American who cares about them?
I think that it's comfortable for African American inmates to see an African American woman who is a Muslim that they can actually sit down and talk with. Someone who has formed in their minds what a Muslim is, and you can speak to them from the perspective of a Muslim. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Many women of different ethnic and racial backgrounds actually initiate conversations with me. I go to see a lot of women who are of all racial and ethnic backgrounds. Just in the last week, I mostly see African Americans and Latino women, Latinas, and Caucasian women. But in the last week, I've had specific interactions with Caucasian women. We also have Native women in our population, and I've had interactions with them also. So even though there are women there who feel comfortable talking to me because of our cultural similarities, we meet each other on a human level even more, so that it really doesn't matter, what your cultural background or your racial background is. If you speak to someone, if you speak to their humanity, then you don't have to be careful about who it is that you're talking to or how you speak to them necessarily, because everybody is human. You speak to that. You meet each other on that level.
Imam, do you find it, a powerful being African American chaplain for the African American population, not just the Muslims as well as the Latinos and other non-Europeans? Do you find, a different impact that you feel that you make?
Well, the impact that I make is to mostly the majority of the prison I work at is mostly Latino and African Americans. Like Sister Winoma said, that I have a few Native Americans that are there that expresses their belief in Al-Islam. You mentioned the power. The power of the influence comes from Allah and the Quran, and that's what I try to stress. But prior to that, you mentioned about the Black Lives Matter. The life, as such as I explained to all the inmates, that all lives matter. But at this particular point that we have been seeing and observing, it was Black lives who were actually being taken, and also being mistreated in the prison system. And so my specific address of that would be in the Quran. And that's what I specifically use to make the life that matters, and try to express that to some of the officers that are overseers of the inmates at the same time. But the Black Lives Matter struggle has brought an attention to the strife and the misrepresentation and the injustice that has been ongoing for so long, not just on the outside, but also inside of the prison system. And I can go on with that too, so I'm going to go ahead and let you
Thank you.
Go ahead and moderate, my dear brother. Yeah.
Now, I know that the state of California doesn't have a budget, and I know that you have one of the largest women prisons in the world. What are some of the things that you need that the community could possibly get behind you, so you can be able to present Islam even more, whether it's TVs or DVDs, or what are some of the things that you would enhance what you do?
I know that the budget of the state is limited, but I have to give it to the state of California. The state of California has given us a great deal of latitude to find resources for these women, and we want to reach out to the community also to help us with these resources. I have to also give it to Imam Abdul Hafiz and the Shura Council and a number of the masajid in the Los Angeles area who have helped us with reading material, with hijabs. Women are always asking for scarves so that they can cover. One of the things that I'm interested in is show people what our values are as Muslims, And then there are non-Muslims who also want to share in our values. They want to cover. And they're asking me for scarves all the time. And if we can get, though they've been slow in coming, but we are getting them, and we'll want more. Women are only supposed to have so many in their cells, but it's women. They get old, they want to change, they want to look like something else from one day to the next. Reading material. Share Council has been so good in sharing with us Qur'ans and other types of reading material. The material that we need are those things that express the basics, lay out the basics of Al-Islam, from Salah to the principles to how to practice Islam in our everyday lives, all the way to something that might be thought of as theological, because we have a broad spectrum of women who have different educational backgrounds in our community. We have women who never graduated from high school and read on a very elementary level. We have women who have advanced degrees, who are interested in theology, who are interested in how Al-Islam can be applied. One of the things that we're working on now is creating classes so that we can study Quran, but everybody's got to have a Quran in order for us to be able to do that. So Shura Council has also been very instrumental in helping us with the Eids, supplies, food, whatever it is that we ask for. They've been there for us. We appreciate that. Jazakallah khair. Yes. There are other things that we need, but contact us and we'll let you know what those things are.
Imam?
Yes. One of the things we need volunteers. I can only stress this more so that looking at the different faiths, especially the Christian faith, they have numerous amounts of volunteers that are coming in and assisting, and also the different programs. We can set up different programs to help the inmates, and also set up an outreach program that can continue. Once it's established in the prison, they can also continue. We also need those of you that can volunteer to set up different, I would say, programs that are inside, that can be established inside the prison to allow the inmates to participate in these classes that you have. And they also mark their times down for these particular classes that are taking place. They have a class that's called, right now, the Christians have, it's called a Tumi class. And the Tumi class is based upon Christianity, and anybody can go there, but it's basically a Christian-based college program. And this program allows the inmates to get their, once they complete it, they get what they call merit points, and these merit points reduces their time sentence. So if we can get volunteers to come in to establish some type of extracurriculum class that are set up, and the state will actually pay you for that, setting up these classes. We also need help on the EIDs, the EID programs. We noticed that during the EIDs, also the Christians, they get together and they donate large funds to assist the most of the Christians that have their faith-based religious holidays. Not only that, we also need a religious program established. It's like recently the Christians have established a TV program that comes on every Sunday, and all the inmates can go to the gym and watch this program live. So if we can establish, and I'm appealing to the outside community, if you have anything that you can volunteer, we can set this up inside of the institutions and get this approved, and allow us to have a religious program constantly moving on inside of the prison. The Christian communities, they donate televisions and CDs and CD programs so that they can, the inmates can actually listen to church programs. Well, we need the same thing to have the different Jumas from the different Imams that are on the outside, so we can have a variety of Islamic services that's going on that can be taught inside of the prison system. So any volunteers out there that have any concepts or any ideas, see Sister Winoma and myself, and then we can get these programs started off into the community so they can enhance the inmates. Also to continue practicing Al-Islam once they leave out of the institutions.
I want to
Imam, could
bring up
I add something to
yes.
that, if you
Yes.
do not mind? Volunteers are key to developing the programs. Right now, we're living through the situations where everything is like very regimented because of COVID, but it has been difficult for us to get volunteers to actually come in and present programs, to interact with the inmates, and of course all of the volunteers need to be screened by the state, but it is not impossible for people to come in and actually, we look for volunteers. We expect and hope and pray for volunteers to be able to come in and develop courses, present courses. Right now at CIW, the Islamic program has 4 volunteers, but they cannot be there all the time. So if we had, I have sat in the intake room and watched dozens of Christian volunteers come through at a time, and we have one on a day and then one on another day, whereas someone else, some other faith-based group can have many people come in and talk to these women, talk to our women. Our program includes more than just those who claim to be Muslim. People from all different backgrounds, faith-based backgrounds, do participate in whatever programs that we put on. At CIW, we do have a couple of people who are working on getting the programs that you're talking about so that the inmates can get points towards their release, as well as just to acquire more knowledge about the religion itself and about how to apply the religion to their everyday lives. I know they have lives on the outside, but have lives on the inside too.
A couple of points before we close. One is pre-release. What is your vision? What would you like to see the community do in helping with the inmates? Those who do get out. I know you have some maybe who are never going to get out, who are doing life terms, but there are those who are getting out. And what are some of the things that you hear or that you see is needed that the community can help in that pre-release preparation?
Pre-release preparation. Mostly they're looking, those who expect to get out or pray to get out, they're looking for transition programs. They need a place to live. And a lot of times they don't want to go back to the place where they were picked up. They don't need to go back to those places, because then they get sucked back into the same environments that caused problems for them to be there in the first place. If they've grown and developed enough and they have family members on the outside, they need to be able to talk to them about Al-Islam. What I've tried to set up, there are a couple of actually Imam's wives in the community that I try to direct people to, because those women can talk to women. They don't have to say, this is where I've been all this time. They can just come back and talk to, say, this Imam's wife. She knows what their issues are. She knows how they can become part of the community. People on the outside, we need to find women who are not judgmental, but are welcoming, can help parolees to develop new lives on the outside. So important. So those are pre-release. The institution has programs that all the women can have access to. It's after that is an issue. After they need to be able to continue with their Islamic learning, their Islamic development. They need a community, and that's what Al-Islam is, isn't it? It is a social structure as well. When you connect with Allah, you should be able to connect with the community that Allah has, Allah's people, So those who are interested in creating those kinds of networks for parolees, it would be good to know who they are, where they are, connected to a masjid, so that these women can actually become involved in a social environment that will keep them on the right path.
Imam, what was your?
Yes, in our closing, just briefly. I know that there's two in Southern California. One is called Aisha Academy,
Yes.
and the other one is Golden Path. But we need more than just that, because California is so vast, from Northern California to Southern California. There are programs that are available that the chaplains cannot go into because it'd be a conflict of interest. But we need homes for the inmates who are transitioning, because sometimes they only can transition to these places where it's just Christians alone that are doing it, and they put up on another name, but it's based upon Christianity. There's a program called faith-based groups. Faith-based groups is that they allow that there's funds there for all those that want to participate in this program to get state funds and federal funds to open up these transitional homes for the inmates who are transitioning to the general population or back into the general society. So there are programs there. It's just this is a medium, I think, sure, for this media outreach program, because maybe this will open up some of the eyes to those who don't know that you also can create your own jobs by taking or establishing a home for the inmates who are transitioning. And there's all different phases that you can open up these homes to. There's mental health, that you just deal with the mental patients. There's transitional homes, facilities just for women, and then you have it just for the men also. But there's different types of programs, different types of levels of these programs that you can open up your own transitional homes for the inmates who are returning back, and then you can set up your own program inside of your facility or your home. It can't be specifically Islam, but you can set up on the principles of Islam. You can set it up on your homes upon on that base. And if you need more information on that, I can get that to you too. Thank you again, Imam.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
I'm Imam Abdul Hafiz, Director of the Prison Outreach Program. Thank you so much for listening and learning, hopefully, some good things, and there'll be some follow-up with our sister Dr. Wanona Majid Muhammad, who is the Muslim chaplain at the California Institution for Women, as well as Imam Abdul Malik Safir, who is at the California Rehabilitation Center. They have presented themselves, and I hope you've learned something about them and about the work that they do, and that you will support us in striving to reach those men and women who are inside the jails and the prisons across this land, particularly in Southern California. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.